Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Say Gay podcast. How's everyone doing, you guys? I'm so excited to be back for another episode this week. Happy Wednesday when you guys are listening to this. As you guys know, we post every freaking Wednesday. So, I just wanted to, before we get into this episode, you guys, I wanted to say thank you to Spotify for Podcasters for being the sponsor on this on the podcast. They're our first sponsor ever, so it's very exciting. Thank you to all my friends and family that's been saying congrats and everything. Like, I'm very excited about it. You know, that's kind of the direction I've been wanting to go with the podcast and everything. So thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for listening. You know, obviously every step that we go in the podcast, like, nothing would be possible without everyone listening and having all the fans and whatnot. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate everyone's support and everything, and everyone listening and all the feedback and whatnot. So I'm excited to keep creating content and stuff for you guys and keep going with this, and just bringing more people in and more opinions and whatnot. So thank you guys so much. I seriously appreciate everybody who listens to the podcast and everything. So I just want to give that little thank you, a little shout out before getting to the episode. But you guys, today we're going to talk about falling in love with yourself. I know I've kind of talked a little bit about this like in other episodes, but I've never really deep dive like into the topic itself. And kind of just a lot of the stuff that I've been going through lately is just a lot that I wanted to talk about. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is, you know, falling in love with yourself, what that journey looks like, what it's kind of looking like for me, because I'm actually going through that myself right now, is like, you know, on the journey of like self-love and not relying on someone else for, you know, my emotions or my happiness or whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. I want to, you know, like, it is a journey. Like I said, it's a journey of like what you go through on your self-love journey. And I don't know if everybody kind of understands, like, I think a lot of people don't look at self-love as it's like an important thing. I think a lot of people just are like, you know, I love myself because like I'm me and whatnot. And so I think that's how I used to be until more recently, like realizing how much of my emotions I relied on other people for. So like I always relied, you know, my happiness on someone else. Like, especially going through like the breakup, like I realized like, you know, I have a lot of things to work on. I have a lot of growth and whatnot, and like I'm young and I can, you know, I have the time to grow on those things, but it's a lot. It was, like I said, it's a journey of like what I'm, you know, going through, of like finding myself and loving myself and, you know, making decisions for me and not, you know, making decisions for somebody else. And so that's kind of the journey that I've gone on, and I'll kind of dive more into like my personal journey with this, but you know, it's like I said, it's a journey, and you just have to fall in love with who you are and who you're becoming in a way. Like you have to, you know, are you like happy and satisfied with yourself as a person and like who you are as a person? Like, are you satisfied with those things? Are you, you know, happy with how you're living your life? And, you know, I think a lot of people are like complacent, I think is the word, in their life. Like they're just so set on like what they're doing. And I think that's how I was for a very long time. Like I was very like, you know, not extremely happy like in certain aspects of my life, and I was just kind of like going with the motions and just whatnot. And so that's kind of my journey that I've gone on, especially moving to Austin and, you know, being recently single, like all those things. It's like a lot of learning, and like there's a lot of things that I have done to, you know, improve myself and like wanting to love myself even more and being who I want to be. And so, you know, that kind of like doing those things that make you happy. And like a lot of people, I feel like, don't do the things that make them happy. And I think also another like little thing here is a lot of people always say like, I can't do the things that make me happy because everything's so expensive in life and like whatnot. And it's like, I feel like there is certain things in life that you can do to make yourself happy that literally don't cost anything. Like when I look at what makes me happy and like what makes me want to like makes me fall in love with myself even more, it's like little things. Like it can be like a job. Like, what are you doing for work? Like, do you love what you do? Do you love your job? Like, is it one of those jobs where it's like, oh, it just pays the bills? Like, I hate my job. Like, if you, like, I 100% am always going to be the person that is like, I used to hate my job. Like, I hated what I used to do because I used to work at like a big retail company, and I was a customer service manager. And so anybody who's ever worked in customer service, that shit sucks. Like, literally, it's not like you, especially being a manager, like you deal with all the bullshit of everybody's like shit comes back on you. And so being in customer service, like management, like it was just so much, and I hated what I did, but I made really good money and I was really good at it. So it was something that I was complacent with what I was doing. And I was comfortable. And so I never, explored other options. Now moving down to Austin, like I love my job now. Like I'm a bartender. Like I love what I do. It's like, obviously it has its days like that I'll complain about certain things of my job, but I love what I do now. Like I love the, people that come in. I love the, just the bartending is just fun. Like for me, it's something that I love because it's a lot of fun and I get to do what I want to do. Like it's just, I enjoy it quite a bit. So I think just like a little thing like that, it can be like a job. Like, do you love what you're doing for a job? Because that's kind of a journey of like self-love as well, is like, what do you do for a job? And then it can be little things like fashion and hair. Like, I think so many people, like when I was younger, I never did anything crazy with my hair until I like grew up. And it was like, it's such a little thing of like dyeing your hair a different color or giving yourself a different haircut, but like it's just one of those things that it can make you so happy, and like you can like live who you want to be like through your hair or through the way you dress. Like for me, I have completely changed the way that I dress moving down to Austin, because obviously I've talked about it, like back home, I can't dress the same way as I dress down here. I mean, I can, but I'll do with a lot more hate and judgment around it. So it's just, in a way, it's not really worth it for me. So living down in Austin, it's like I can dress how I want to dress, and like it doesn't matter. Like I can be who I want to be. Like I love that about living down here. And so it's like those two little things right there is just like fashion and hair. Like that can escalate like your self-love for yourself so much more if you're dressing the way that you want to dress, if you're having the hair color that you want to have or the haircut you want to have. Like it's just those little things in life that can like escalate you being happier with yourself and like going on that journey of loving yourself. Another thing is just like people and like relationships, sexual relationships, everything like that. Like I think having sexual relationships, like there is such a big judgment around like sexual relationships, especially in the gay community, is, hookup culture and all that stuff. But like if that's what you want to do and like that makes you feel good about yourself, then do it. Like obviously like not everybody has to be in hookup culture, but like if that makes you happy, then do it. Who fucking cares? Like stop letting other people's judgment, stop you from doing those things. And like relationships as well, like if you want to be going on dates, if you don't want to be in a relationship, if you want to be in a relationship, like those are things that you can do like for yourself and your self-love. But also with that, when it comes to relationships, I want to talk about is you can't love another person when you don't love yourself. Like this is actually something, I was actually out with some friends last night and someone was talking to us about like we were talking about relationships, and the conversation kind of moved to the part of loving yourself more than you love someone else. And I actually wrote it down. I said, when you love someone more than you love yourself, you can end up getting hurt. So when it comes to relationships and like your self-love with a relationship versus your love in the relationship, if you are giving all of your love to that person and you're not giving yourself any love, it can lead you to get hurt in a lot of ways, because if you love somebody so much and you are not, focusing on yourself, you're only focusing on the relationship, you're only focusing on them, anytime they say or do something that can, hurt you in any way, if they do something that hurts you, if they say something that hurts you, it's going to make the hurt like 10 times harder, because you don't love yourself in a way. Like you're not, taking care of yourself, versus like if you have, this big self-love for yourself and you're going into a relationship for the right reasons, they can do something to hurt you, but it's not going to hurt as bad because you know your worth. Like what you deserve in a way. And so I think when it comes to relationships, like self-love is one of those, like it's kind of hard because you kind of can lose yourself when it comes to a relationship. At least I felt that way when I, was in a relationship for so long. Like I felt like I did a little bit lose myself, and I wasn't, doing the things that I wanted to do. I wasn't the person that I wanted to be until more recently. And unfortunately, obviously, like the breakup happened, and it's kind of taken me that to realize a lot of my self-love and the journey I need to go on. But it's just one of those things that you don't want to lose yourself in a relationship, because you want to still be able to love yourself as much as you love that other person, because then, you're not giving all your emotions to one person. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket per se, whatever. And you are, still loving yourself just as much as that person might love you. And not every relationship obviously is going to end up with hurt. Like there's relationships that do amazing and everything. But just make sure that you're always, giving yourself time and whatnot to, process things in a relationship, process things in life, and process things for yourself, because you don't, like I said, you don't want to be giving all of your all of your love to just one person and not leaving anything for yourself. Like there's a saying that you can't fill up other people's cups you can't fill someone's cup if your cup is empty. I think that's how they say it, or your glass, whatever you want to say. Meaning basically, like, if you're giving all of your time, energy, love, everything to somebody else and yours is empty, like, you're going to burn out. You're going to run out of, love to give. You're going to run out of advice to give, whatever, time, everything, if you're not, plugging into yourself in a way. Like, you have to still do those things to love yourself and, refill your cup. Like, you have to do it for yourself in a way. Like, you can't rely on somebody else to do it for you. And if you do rely on someone else to do it for you, you can be disappointed because they're not doing it for you. So you should never rely on someone else to do it for you, and you should just do it for yourself. And that's a lot of what I've been learning lately is, I can't rely on anyone else to make me happy. I can't rely on anyone else for love and whatnot. I have to do that for myself. And so, that kind of brings me into, like, my personal journey of a lot of things that I've been going through. And it's like I said, like, during the breakup or after the breakup, like, I realized a lot of things about myself of, like, I don't ever want to sit here and say that I was, like, a perfect person in a relationship. I would never want to come across that way, because I've said before, no relationship is perfect. Like, everybody has issues in a relationship. Even everyone who's messaged me after the breakup or, before, everyone was always like, oh my God, you guys are perfect together. Like, me and Gage were, like, perfect together. Like, you guys are going to be together forever, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, you guys, like, a lot of people only see surface level of a relationship, and you see all the perfect stuff. You see what is posted on social media, but you don't see behind the scenes of relationships and stuff. So I don't ever want to, like, come across as somebody who's saying that I was a perfect person in a relationship, because I made my mistakes. Like, I've done things wrong, and I'm, learning that, certain things I did, like, it wasn't okay. And I have to learn, going into a future relationship or future just with myself, like, self-love, is I have to learn to, break the bad habits and learn how to do things better. Like, for me, I know one of my worst parts in the relationship is I'm terrible with communication, and I let a lot of people kind of walk all over me in a way. And that's just not in like a sexual relationship, like a dating relationship, whatever. Like, I let a lot of people walk all over me, whether it's like work or friends or whatever. And I'm learning how to, undo those habits of letting people, walk on me and say what they want to me. Like, I am learning what I will or won't put up with in a way. And so that's kind of me on this self-love journey is, especially like in a self-love journey, like, for me, there's a point where you realize some people in your life can be toxic. And that's kind of brings in where I say people have walked all over me, is you have to kind of recognize those relationships that can be toxic to you. And you have to, break that cycle of those toxic relationships. And you might have to cut people off every once in a while. Like, there's certain relationships in your life that might not serve you anymore, or maybe they're just not serving you at that time, and then later on it'll serve you. Like, you can always reconnect with people. Like, shit happens, like, and you can't keep toxic people in your life just because they may have been in your life for a long time or whatnot. Like, the same thing goes for family and whatnot. Like, if you have toxic family, like, don't feel obligated to keep them in your life just because they're family. Like, yeah, they're going to be your family, like, regardless, because you are related. But if you have toxic family members and they're saying shit about you behind your back, or they're saying shit in general, like, you don't have to keep people like that in your life. Like, I think I've talked about that before with family and whatnot, is you just can't keep toxic people in your life, because it's not going to serve you at the end of the day at all. And especially if you're going to continue to let people walk all over you, people are going to continue to walk all over you forever. Like, I always let people walk all over me, and I always told myself, I was like, I'm just a go with the flow kind of person. Like, I just don't really care. But at the end of the day, I did care. I do care. Like, I am very go with the flow. I will say that. I know that I am, because I hate making decisions. I'm very indecisive. And so I do a lot of, like, the go with the flow kind of stuff. But, at some point, the go with the flow can lead to walking all over you in a way. So you can't keep people like that in your life. And, just more stuff of, like, this whole, like, personal journey for me is, like, other than those, like, relationships and whatnot, like, I am realizing more of, like, giving myself more time than, giving another person, because I always gave other people more time than myself. So it's about, like, just doing things for me, like going, if I'm getting dinner by myself, like just doing little things like that, like going on a self date. Like self dates can literally like escalate your mood so good. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, you're not with anybody. You don't have to worry about someone else's decisions. You don't have to worry about like anything like that. So taking yourself on self dates, go for it. If it's going for a run, if it's going for a hike, just doing things like by yourself, like can help so much. For me, I love just like blasting music and just like scream singing. Like if it's in my car, if it's in the house, like whatever. Like I love doing that type of stuff where I can just feel like it doesn't matter. Like nothing matters at that time. I'm just like living in the moment. I'm like scream singing. Like I do that all the time. I love running. I literally love running. People think I'm crazy when I say that I love running because everybody's like, I hate running. I love running. Like this is just something I've done since I was in like high school. So if I'm going for a run, it's typically for thinking and whatnot. There's like parks and stuff around our house. So like I'll go walk in the park and just take time to think for myself because that's something that helps me just like kind of process things and think about things. So that's just something that I really enjoy. And those are little things that have helped me within my self-love journey, is just doing things for myself and doing things by myself. If it's, wanting to go out and just texting my friends like, hey, let's go out. Like, we don't have to have a reason. Like, let's just go out. Like, that's just something as well of like my self-love, is like just doing things that are fun and like doing things that I actually enjoy. And some other like little like tips and stuff as well that I want to talk about is, for me, more recently, actually, I've started like journaling. I have like a little notebook in the house and I just write in it pretty much every single day. And I just write what I'm feeling. And it started I pretty much like right after the breakup is I started writing things down just to, process, I guess, things and like say things that I might not say to, somebody in my life. Like I might not tell my mom about things that I write down. I might not tell my best friends everything. Like there's just little things that I like to write down in there, and it just helps me process things of like what I am going through or like what's going on in my life at that time. So I love journaling. Like if that's something that you guys like, you can do it. Like you can do it on your phone. I used to journal on my phone all the time. Like I had like a little app or a note section, whatever, and I would write things down. But now I do it pen to paper just because that's what I enjoy. I don't know. I like the old school way. So journaling has helped me a lot. This podcast helps me so much with, I can talk about whatever I want on here, and I love that. And like the fact that I get to help other people with talking about whatever I want, like makes it even better. So like doing this podcast every week, like fills my cup so much. Like it just makes me so happy. It brings me so much joy. And so that's why I love doing this podcast. That's like a big reason why I wanted to start this podcast. It was a huge, like New Year's goal of mine. I've always wanted to start a podcast. And so it was just something that I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do it. Like, there's quite literally no cost involved when I started this podcast other than equipment. And so it was just something that I wanted to do. And like, it helps me so much. Like, as much as everyone messages me and they're like, this episode helps me. This episode helps me. Like, I love that you talk about this. Like, I think you guys don't realize, like, it helps me too to talk about those things. It helps me process a lot of things. Like, the breakup episode was one of the number one episodes that like I helped me process like a lot of things in my life at the time. And so during the like talking about the breakup, like on the podcast, like it just helped me talk about, getting my emotions out and whatnot. And it just helps me like feel real and raw in a way. And so I don't know, like the podcast it helps me so much. And I know it helps a lot of other people as well, but that's another thing that I do for self-love as well. Another thing is just being around good people. I already kind of talked about that, but like just, texting, hey, let's go out. Hey, let's go get food. Like whatever it might be. Is just being around those good people, like helps so much. And like I said, cutting out those toxic people in your life when you need to, like you can do that whenever you absolutely need to. Like it's 100% okay to cut out toxic people from your life and just surround yourself with good people. And, you'll kind of notice that your mental like state will change when you are surrounded by good people, because maybe you're not used to being around good people. Like for me, when I lived in Wisconsin, like I didn't have a lot of like friends and good people in my life. And so moving down here, I'm surrounded by a lot of friends, no family, technically my chosen family. But I'm surrounded by a lot of like good people in my life. And so that's something I like, is to just keep those good people. I recognize, the people in my life that are good for me and they're not, showing me toxic behavior. And it has helped me a lot in life to, keep those good people around me and whatnot. Another thing I kind of talked about this earlier is like fashion, dressing how I want. Like, I don't know, like when I get cute and I go get dinner or I go out, whatever, it literally just makes my confidence just fucking boom. Like, I'm feeling myself. Like, I'm taking pictures. I look cute. Like, it's something that I absolutely love, and it fills me up so much. And like, that is me like loving myself, is dressing how I want to dress. Like, I really don't care what people think of how I dress. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about people's opinions. Like, if I've had people comment on the way I dress on social media before, and I just don't give a shit. Like, I don't respond. I don't delete the comments. Like, it doesn't bother me, because I've come to that realization of loving myself fashion-wise so much that I just don't care what people think, because I like the way I dress. And so I can dress however I want, and it doesn't affect me anyway whatsoever that, people might not like it. So, yeah, dressing. The job, I talked about like loving my job. Like, loving my job has helped my mental health so much, and like my self-love journey of just, like going to work every day and not absolutely hating it. And like I said, I do have my days. Like, I genuinely don't think any job is perfect out there either. Just like relationships, obviously every job has like things that you might not like, but I love what I do. Like, I love going to work every day, and I work a lot. Like, I fucking work so much, especially lately. I've been working a lot, but I'm choosing to do that because I love what I do and I enjoy it. So, loving my job has helped me so much. And then another thing, what kind of goes with the being around good people, is just talking to supportive people. Like, don't talk to people who aren't supportive of like whatever you're talking to them about. So, if you're talking to somebody who's like an ex and you're talking about a new relationship, they're probably not that supportive of the new relationship. So just be careful who you're talking to when it comes to supportive people. Just be talking to supportive people that are supporting you on whatever you need to. So if it's a mental health thing, if it's a work thing, if it's a relationship thing, just talk to the people that are supportive of you, because you don't want to tell somebody something and then they go tell the whole fucking world, because that shit is annoying. So just keep those supportive and good people around you. Like, just always be surrounded by good people with good intentions. Like, don't ever, be around the bad intention people. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I got for you guys with like the whole loving yourself journey. It's something that it's a journey, and I really don't think there's like a time limit on the journey. Like, if it takes you 2 years to find self-love, that's okay. If it takes you 2 days to find self-love, that's okay. I've recently found a lot of self-love for myself, and I talk to very supportive people in my life every single day. Like, I talk to my mom quite literally. I call her like fucking 6 times a day, because my mom's my best friend. She's my number one supporter in my life. Like, I talk about her all the time on here. And regardless of what people might think of my relationship with her, like, I talk to her every single day because she's so supportive and she understands the things that I go through. And so she's just somebody I rely on for a lot of things, for advice and whatnot. So just keeping the supportive people around me has like recently helped me so much. And it's made me realize a lot of things, because even though obviously they're the supportive people in my life and my mom's always going to support me, she doesn't always have to agree with the decisions I make or the things that I say, the things that I do. And so having that supportive type of person around me, she's going to call me on my shit when I need it. And she definitely has, you guys. Like, my mom isn't just supporting every little thing that I do, but she supports me in every way. Like, she supports me, but she will also call me out on my shit if I'm doing something that I shouldn't be, or if I'm doing something wrong. So, just keep those good intention people around you guys. Just do the things that you want to do. If you want to go sing a song in your car today, then go do it. If you want to go, take a hour-long hot shower, then do it. Like, if you want to go for a run, do it. If you want to go find a new job, then fucking do it, you guys. Like, don't ever let judgment of other people stop you from doing that journey of self-love, because judgment is like the worst thing that you can let stop you in a way. Like, don't ever let somebody's judgment stop you. Don't let people stop you from doing what you want to do, from being who you want to be. Just be yourself, and that's always going to be good for you yourself. You don't have to be good enough for other people. Just always be the person that you want to be and live your true self. Like, just live how you want to live. Like, that's my number one advice with life in general, is just be the person that you want to be and just love yourself for every little thing that you have. Like, any flaw that you think you might have, just love it anyway, because it's just a part of you. It makes you who you are. So just never quit on that self-love journey, and always be filling your own cup as well as filling other people's, but make sure that you're filling your own cup first, and make sure that you're always happy with the decisions you're making and doing the things that you want to do. So I love you guys as always. Again, I want to say thank you guys for everything and thank you for the messages and whatnot. And I'm excited for more content to come, you guys. You know, it's summer down here, so I'm just, well, it's not really summer. I think it's still technically spring, but the weather's getting really warm down here. So I love, like, when the weather gets warm, I just want to go freaking crazy and just do everything. So I have a lot more content coming up for you guys. I think I'm going to be bringing on some more guests hopefully next week. And I know you guys love hearing from different stories, and I love hearing different stories because sometimes I don't want to sit on here and talk for 30 minutes straight. Like, I want to hear from someone else. So hopefully we'll be bringing on some more guests soon. But yeah, you guys, I will talk to you guys next Wednesday. As you guys know, I always say you guys can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. You can go follow social medias everywhere else, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So go show some love. We're still selling bracelets, you guys, the Say Gay Podcast bracelets. If you guys want to get one, just message me and I will hook you guys up. But I love you guys as always. I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday and go do something for yourself today. All right.